Hey guys, Pastor P here. Hope you're doing well today. Before we kick into today's lesson, I just want to give a big shout out to love and to friendship. We had a wonderful day yesterday in San Diego, just full of fellowship and fun and just laughing and carrying on with one another, and had a great time. And then on the drive home, somewhere along the line, developed vertigo. Like severe, ended up in the emergency room. And I just want to give just our friends just a big shout out of love and gratefulness for taking care of me and my wife during that time. And even friends came to our house and took care of our animals, and until we were able to get home, and friends that came back and got us, and friends that were encouraging and picking up stuff to try to get through it along the way. And I just praise God for friendship and fellowship and love, because it is important who you surround yourself with, those that will encourage you to take care of yourself and to take the time to do that. So just want to say that, and but I'm grounded at home for a few days, and so I just we'll be here for the next few chapters of Mark, and so hopefully you will be too. Today we're in Mark chapter 5. If you remember, we left Mark chapter 4, and there was a little tagline on the very end of chapter 4, and it's where the disciples and Jesus were out at sea in a boat, and a storm came up. And the disciples all worried. These men were just scared, frightened. And they asked Jesus, they said, "Teacher, don't you care? Don't you care if we drown?" And I love it, because Jesus just immediately, he got up, not paying any attention to their concern or negativity. He just says, "Quiet, be still," talking to the wind. And the wind immediately obeyed and calmed down. And his response to them, looking at them, "Why are you so afraid? Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" And they end that chapter with that, and they're just like, "Oh my God, who is this guy that even the wind and the waves obey him?" And so I just share that with you tonight, just to whatever you're going through. Remember this: even the wind and the waves obey him. All he had to do was say, "Quiet, be still." Sometimes that's what we need to do inside of our hearts, and when things are all a-churning and a-burning, and we just need to be quiet and be still. Well, we land in Mark chapter 5, and we're first introduced to a man who was overcome, demon-possessed with many demons, and said his name was Legion, and they would just overpower him. And I just always find it interesting that people, it said that when he saw, let me back up here. He had been chained hand and foot, but he tore the chains apart and broke the irons night and day. Night and day, this thing was just messing with him. But when he saw Jesus, there was something that overcame him. And Jesus didn't entertain the demons. It said, "Come out. Come out of him, you impure spirits. Come out." He didn't "Oh, how long you been this way? Oh, what's going on? What did your mama say? What did your daddy say? What did the doctor say? What did the folks say? What? No, he took control of the situation. And he was like, "Come out of this man." And then he asked him, "What is your name?" "Legion." And now he's talking to the demons, "For we are many." And they begged Jesus not to send them out of the area. So Jesus sent them into this herd of pigs, about 2,000 pigs. And the pigs ended up rushing down the bank and into the lake and were drowned. Whoa, what a sight to see. And so everybody who saw that was just like, "Whoa, who is this guy? What has happened?" And it says, those who had seen it told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man, and told about the pigs as well. And the people began to plead with Jesus, "You got to leave from here. Not only are you messing with our economy, come on now," because he's in a Gentile land. And so the pigs were now drowned, And so it's like he told the man, he said, go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you. In that moment, it was like Jesus cared more about human life than an economic life, okay? You with me? People over prophets. He cared more about what was happening to this man, his compassion toward him to be freed from these demons. And it was like, okay, send you into the pigs. I will do what you ask. And the pigs ended up drowning. The people were all amazed. I always love that. The people were just amazed at who he was. Some words are used are terrified. Like, what is this? Who is this dude? Well, we have another story which lands two stories together. The story of Jairus' daughter and the woman with the issue of blood. And this is perhaps one of my favorite chapters in the Bible because there's just so much faith. The demon-possessed man saw Jesus, and then in this story of Jairus, he's a synagogue leader, religious man, okay? And it says that when he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet and pleaded with him, my little daughter's dying, come, put your hands on her so that she'll be healed. He knew. He had so much faith. You just come put your hands on her and she'll be healed and live. Jesus, come on, come to my house. And so as they were on the way to Jairus' house, there was a woman with the issue of blood. You'll find it in Mark chapter 5. Sorry, I hit the wrong button there. And it says, a large crowd followed and pressed in around him. And a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years, and she had suffered greatly. She had lost everything. But when she heard about Jesus, we find the demon-possessed man saw Jesus when Jairus saw Jesus. And now the woman with the issue of blood had heard about him. And she knew that all she got to do is get to the hem of his garment. If she could but touch him, she would be freed from her suffering. And sure enough, as she did that, immediately her bleeding stopped and she felt in her body that she was freed. And Jesus said, who touched me? And the disciples, in all their innocence, everybody's touching you, Jesus. What's going on? Everybody. No, somebody touched me with faith. There's a difference when you're just reaching out or when you're being touched with faith. And he said, daughter, he looked around. She confessed what had happened to her. Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering. I love that. 2 had seen him. 1 had heard about him. But they're all these people of faith. It's a huge faith chapter. And so I love it. When he got to Jairus' house, there's all this commotion. People wailing and praying and carrying on. And he was just like, why all this? The child's not dead, but asleep. Because see, they had told Jairus, it's too late, boo. It's too late. But Jesus told Jairus, don't be afraid, only believe. And so they got there, and this part that I really love is like, Jesus let everybody in, or he put everybody out, except for Peter, James, and John. He was going to surround himself with these people of faith. Okay, you got to put that negativity out. You got to put that fear out. You got to put out all that crying and wailing, and let's get focused on what God's about to do here, about to raise this child up. And Jesus spoke to her, took her by the hand, and said, it says, he put all of them out, took the child's father and mother and disciples who were with him, and went in where the child was. And he took her by the hand and said to her, Talitha koum, and which means, little girl, I say to you, get up. Which in the language of the day, it means little lamb. Lamb, rise up. Rise up. And immediately she stood up and began to walk. And he gave strict orders not to let anyone know about this and told them to give her something to eat. Take care of her. Okay? What a wonderful chapter of faith. We're being told to speak directly into a situation. Highlight number 1, speak directly into a situation. Call things as they are, not how you pretend they might be or soften them or ooh. Call things as they are and watch things begin to happen. And secondly is, as Jairus' example, don't give up. Do not give up. Jesus told him, don't be afraid, only believe. Only believe. And also with the woman with the issue of blood, she just knew all she had to do was touch him. Reach out and touch. Believe that God cares and is concerned and has compassion for you and what's going on in your life. Be sure tonight to take care of yourself. Get some rest. I know I will be. And I love you, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye now.